Hi everybody, welcome back. Hey, today I just want to give everyone a quick update on what's going on with the little health issue that I brought up yesterday. If you missed that, I put a quick video up. I just talked about what's going on. I just have basically found a mole that's pretty suspicious and has me a little worried. So, but I owe you guys just a quick update of what's going on. Nothing too big at this point, but I've called a lot of places to try to figure out what I can do and what my best options are. I've been kind of navigating this, and I think this is probably the worst part about any health thing, is navigating what your best plan of action is and navigating our healthcare system, because that's the part. So it's just kind of tiring, just thinking and researching and making calls and stuff like that. But anyway, I did have a person suggest the idea of maybe looking into just an urgent care center, and this was a good idea, and I think it's a good idea for a lot of the other little things that pop up. Now, I did call an urgent care center to see what they could do, and while they said that they could have me in and look at it, they also gave me kind of an answer that sort of made me lean away from doing that, because they said that they couldn't do anything beyond that. So they could look at it and make a recommendation, but they really couldn't give a diagnosis, and that they would likely, if they agreed that it was suspicious or needed something further, that they would then send me to a specialist. So I kind of shy away from that option at this point, just because I don't know. It's a little confusing. Does that mean that I'm going to go in, pay them to look at it, and then they're going to agree with me and say, oh yeah, that is suspicious and you should go to a specialist, and then I'm going to have to make an appointment and then go in to see a specialist and then pay them, and then from there get a diagnosis, or what? I'm not sure. They weren't really clear as to how far they could actually go with a strong diagnosis, but I'm assuming they're going to have to take maybe like a sample and do like the biopsy. And if that's the case, they can't do that there, so I'm scared I'll end up paying double. So something to think about if anybody else, goes through this, but also just an update on that. Had my fingers crossed that I could just do something like that, like go into a regular doctor or these urgent care or whatever and just pay a fee and at least get a proper diagnosis. But it sounds like that's maybe not the best course of action. So that's what's going on with that possibility. Now, in terms of getting into, say, a specialist, and when I say specialist, it sounds like you pretty much go to a dermatologist for this type of thing. I thought you could go to a regular doctor for this, but it sounds like I really need to go to a dermatologist. Having said that, those are what I've been calling, and they're giving me really long wait times until I can get an appointment, like many, many months out. So I have talked to a few, and what I've been asking them about is some sort of wait list. And many of them say, yes, I can get on a wait list. So I've done that, and I've asked them to do that. What that means is if someone cancels an appointment, then I can take their spot, which means to me, like any day, maybe I could get one. I mean, they'll move me up the line. The good and bad news, the good news is that I can get on these wait lists. The bad news is they still tell me that, well, there's a list, but it's a really long list. But a couple of them, most of them tell me really long list. A couple of them have said that actually, yeah, no, that it's very possible they have cancellations. So that I just kind of wait, and that they will let me know when that happens, and even to try to call back and keep trying. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm very hopeful with that. And really all I want to do is I want to get in sooner than later. So, because, it worries me. So it's kind of interesting because last night I actually had a dream. I've been just thinking about this, and I had this dream that I found out this kind of bad news, and it was bad news, and I only had like a short time left to live, and so I know I'm getting really ahead of myself there but it's dreams, kind of whatever's going on in your head, this happens. And then I was just running through a forest, and I was really happy, and I was singing. And sort of a long story short, it's this like personal thing for me. It's like singing is, when I was younger, I used to be really shy about singing. I had this thing happen where I didn't, I tried out, this is a true story, I tried out for this solo, and I wanted to just sing. I loved singing, and I didn't make it in school. They only chose one, and I went to this big school, and they chose one out of all these people, and so I wasn't chosen. So after that, I had this kind of stupid thing, but I was always really shy about singing. I was like, I'm never singing in front of anyone ever again. And so it took me a while to get over that. But I don't know if that's what kind of came up in that dream, is just this like letting go of all that and not caring what anyone thinks, and just, you know, that's part of that like kind of living life. Just do whatever you want to do. And I don't know, but it was sort of interesting. I think that's what's going on inside of me, and that's why I talked about this trip and all this other stuff that we want to do, and how, I mean, and maybe this is a good thing because it's pushing me to just make this list of things, and we already live what I think is really to the fullest, so I'm happy with that. But it's also kind of just, you know, what else can I do? Like, even the little things, I guess, not the big things, but like the everyday little things, making sure that I'm just doing what I love and just feeling that kind of that, I'm free. So, interesting dream, to go along with what's going on. I guess it's in my head. But also, there's the update. So yeah, I'm on some wait list. We'll see. I'm hopeful. I think that that'll work out. Yes, it's a little tiring. Like I said, calling, the dang phone things when you call, you have to sit on that and wait forever. That's driving me crazy. And then when you get to talk to someone, there's a lot of very unclear answers. Like, I try to ask all these questions, and a lot of the answers are very confusing. Like, how much? Well, there's this range. You know, it could be $50 to $1,000 for that particular thing. Like, oh, okay, thanks. There's not a big difference between those numbers. So I get it to an extent. I mean, who knows what they have to do, so they can't give me a number. But at the same time, I wish there was at least kind of more clear. So that, and then even the, well, what can you do? Well, our facility can only do this, and then you'll have to go here. So very confusing, and navigating the whole healthcare thing is the most tiring part. But we'll get there. So that's what's going on. I've even had some people suggest things like, hey, maybe we should just go down to Mexico and it'll be cheaper. And I've heard of people that do that. I kind of go back and forth, but who knows? As this goes along, maybe that'll be a better option. And maybe for other health things, because even when we started thinking about like other health issues, and like even with the rattlesnake treatment, we've heard people tell us that they go down to Mexico to get that as well. So, because it's a heck of a lot cheaper down there. So I don't know, maybe some thoughts for other people that are on the road, but this is what's going on. And yeah, that's the update for today. That's all I can share, and I will let you know what happens down the line. Thank you very much for all the kind words. Several of you have just given me some, you know, kind thoughts, and keep me in your thoughts, and I really appreciate that. Very thankful for the community that we have here, and we'll see what happens. Maybe, you know, whatever. I don't want to get too worried, but it's on my mind, and we will see what happens. So I will keep you guys updated. Thanks again. Talk next time. Bye.